Aurora Cannabis has secured up to $250 million in a debt facility from Bank of Montreal. It's a landmark deal not just for Aurora, but for the cannabis industry as a whole. That's because until recently, marijuana firms had to rely on smaller independent lenders or share issuances for financing. It appears that has changed. Aurora Cannabis CEO Terry Booth is with us now. Thanks for being with us.
Thanks for having me.
So let's start with the $200 million, what you plan to do with it. What does this change for your company?
Well, we plan to keep our pedal to the metal in executing our strategy on a global basis in the cannabis space, in the medical cannabis space, as well as prepare for the adult usage space in a proper manner.
So obviously getting production up and running full tilt is key as we head towards legalization. Are you ready to be at full capacity production to meet the market?
Our Aurora Sky project is only a couple of weeks off. We're going to be taking our first harvest down from Aurora Sky next week. We have an analyst and investor day sometime in July, mid-July, and we'll be ready for adult usage. Certainly with the extra month. It helps, and our acquisitions and the integration of those acquisitions is going very well. So the extra month has given us some good space, and we look forward to entering the adult usage market in Canada.
There are some concerns, and I'm sure you've seen them, Terry, that in terms of how well prepared the retail market will be, that there will be oversupply for the legal retailers to sell, so a glut of product that will hurt your end prices. Are you worried about sort of how this all, at least transitionally, works out as we get retailing up and running?
Not at all. I think initially you'll see actually a lack of supply in the Canadian market, but this is a global company, and it's a global industry, and we look 5 years out before we see any glut in cannabis supply. The European market itself is demanding a lot more cannabis than we had anticipated. Germany has gone right through the roof with its demand, and now we're starting to see that move to Denmark and Italy, Poland and Malta. It's a great space to be in, and we don't anticipate a glut of supply at all.
There was this decision today to allow outdoor cultivation of plants, something that many in the industry had opposed. What's your feeling about that?
We've always supported indoor grow, outdoor grow, home grow. However you grow cannabis, do your very best to do it. And really that's what drove our mission in building these wonderful facilities that have high yield, have low risk, and have low cost, and have high quality. The outdoor grow, whether it be hoop house or in the fields, is welcomed by Aurora, and we'll be on that as well for its derivatives, but you can't really get the quality for the medical industry or the adult usage that you can in the facilities like Aurora Sky, for instance.
What do you think is going to happen with all of the illegal retailing that goes on right now and the illegal market sales that happen? If they don't disappear, how complicated does that get for the legal producers?
I think it's a transitional period that we're going to see with the illegal dispense and the illegal grow, the gray market. Let's not call it illegal, but it's going to be slow in provinces like British Columbia, and rightfully so. Hopefully, they transition those pioneers into the legal space so that they can dispense appropriately, and the people that are growing it in the gray market, hopefully that they can also apply. There's a microprocessor part of the regulation we're anticipating, and we're working with some of the craft growers right now, as in Choom, the recent deal we've done in making the craft growers, the smaller growers, a big part of this big industry.
You have diversified beyond simply the production of marijuana for recreational medical use into other verticals in this space. Does that protect you against any kind of big disconnect in this market here, or even just a slow transition to a healthy legal market?
It certainly helps. Integration, vertical, whether it be horizontal, vertical, it's important. I feel, and our company feels, and we've had a great team integrating the various directions that we've taken in the company. We've stuck to our knitting. We know what we're doing, and I think that it helps. But we're not concerned about having a glut, and we're not doing it for that. We're not getting into other ends of the business because of the commoditization of cannabis. That's a ways out. So it's not why we've done what we've done. It's important to know each and every deal that we sign and that we look at in depth. A lot of them are accretive out of the gate, and that's just going to bode well for Aurora. And this BMO financing is a perfect example of Aurora's execution. Big banks don't lend big money unless you've done a great job in executing and building quality facilities or acquiring them.
It does, of course, add a layer of long-term risk to you in the sense that that big loan is secured by assets, including production facilities. Does that add a little pressure on you on the execution front to get this right?
I'm not worried about that. We've been executing since day one. We were 19 months behind other competitors in the field, and we've caught them all up now, and we've passed many of them. It's important that the company continues to execute, and of course, the integration risk is there, but we've got a great integration team, Andre Jerome. We've got probably the best CFO in the business with Glenn Ibbott, and the entire management team. I'm very proud of this whole group, right from the C-suite people down to the people that are harvesting. It's an amazing company Aurora has built here, and it's not going to stop anytime soon, and that's globally. We have boots on the ground in countries across the world,
right.
And not just associations or affiliations, but employees.
You also have a stock that many considered valued to the stratosphere. You've made acquisitions that people considered highly valued. Some have compared this space to the dot-com companies that left investors quite burned. How do you reassure people that this is not a bubble waiting to pop?
Well, it's certainly not dot-com. Excuse me. I love that. I love when people ask me about the dot-com. The dot-com, and I was around for it with a little bit of gray temples, none of us had computers. The cannabis space has existed, the market has existed for over 50 years. We're just stepping into a space and pulling people over to our side of the fence. So I don't have any concerns whatsoever about a dot-com bubble. If you look at the production numbers that Aurora is going to put up, and others, the Sky facility, for example, 100,000 kilograms per year at full production, present pricing, that's $800 million a year. We have 3 of those facilities going up now, and a partnership with TGOD, which makes it 4, the Green Organic Dutchman. Do the math on that. That's $3.2 billion, and a go forward in any pharma company would be a 10 times multiple. So I think we're undervalued.
Are there too many players in the space, though, Terry? Are there those that are overvalued?
I think you're going to see some carnage, but let's not get negative on this space. Everybody's welcome, and the people that execute will survive. Will it become 5 or 10 top growers with your craft, high quality, sort of boutique brand? Perhaps. It's been an interesting journey, and I don't know that we're oversupplied early. I think everybody's got a great chance at doing this on the retail end of it. Alberta's made a great choice to go private. Looks like Ontario may go private retail as well. So there's opportunities there, but again, this is really a global industry.
Eventually.
It really is. And in the medical space.
We're going to run out of time. I want to ask you about one other aspect to this story, and that is this notion that the big beer companies may be looking to partner with cannabis firms. Have you been talking to them? Is that a move that makes sense?
I can't speak to who we've been speaking to in the beer space, but it does make sense for them. Statistics in Colorado had them, reducing by 20 to 25%, that beer, that is. The overall liquor industry down by a total of 15. So they're entering the space because they're smart. They've been around for 100 or so years. And it's interesting to see them knocking on the doors of licensed producers, as is pharma and as is tobacco. It's going to be a great few years, and who knows where it's all end up. Aurora is just going to continue to execute.